If your character needs to find people to get help after a disaster, what should they do? Can fruit be toxic? What about mountain lions? Find out on this episode. Welcome to Writing Rule with Allie, the fiction writer's weekly inspiration station for rural life and lifestyles, from historical to post-apocalyptic, helping you bring your rule stories to life. I'm Allie, and this is episode number 61, Top Disaster Survival Skills Part 2. Stick around to the end to find out all the ways things could possibly go wrong. Now, let's get into this. If your character finds themselves in a disaster, whether it is a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, there are skills that they will need to survive, and some that will make survival much easier. Your character may have these skills, or it could be somebody with them. Either way, today we will cover 5 more of them. Number 6, knot tying. Knot tying is a skill that is very useful in a disaster. This is for many reasons. The first being impromptu ways to make first aid sling, tie bandages if needed, or something along those lines. The most widely known use is for lashing things together. This could be the framework for a lean-to, roundhouse frame. Basically, it's in the form of a teepee, but it's made entirely of sticks. A debris shelter, a tent made of tarps or canvas, and many more shelters. However, this could be important for other reasons. These include finding uses to better carry or haul supplies, water, food, babies, injured people, and more. If your character was asleep without shoes when a tornado or earthquake happened, they might need to finagle some impromptu shoes. They can make cloth dresses or togas out of blankets or tablecloths. There are many more things, and the possibilities are far too many to list all of them here. Number 7, navigation. Navigation makes this list as something your character will probably need to do. If they are in the wilderness or just moving on foot from one location to another that is not nearby. This could be done in many ways. The oldest method that I can think of is following the North Star, or using it as a guide. This has been done in thousands of cultures for as long as humans have been alive. While almost everyone can find the North Star, a few, myself included, can't. I have been told and shown hundreds of times, and still lose it by the next night. I don't know why, just do. This is fairly rare and something most people will only hear about. I have never met another person who can't. The next one is just as old and is to check direction with the sunrise and sunset. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It is the same everywhere in the world and is known by basically everyone. Many people have a modern compass, or can make something with a magnet and sewing needle. In fact, it's taught in many schools in my area. While I call this modern, the compass was actually invented in 206 BC in China during the Han Dynasty. Other navigation methods include following far-off landmarks, making a shadow compass with sticks using star constellations, the moon's shadow, an analog watch, and more. There are many reasons that your character might need to know the direction they are going. They might want to avoid the bad guys, or stay ahead of them as they get to a place they know or at least hope is safe. They're looking for people. This could include family, friends, or someone they're being paid to find. A side note, if your character is trying to find people in general, they should follow a river or stream that they find in the wilderness. People need water to survive, and it's likely that if they follow it long enough, it will eventually lead them to people. Number 8, plant identification, aka foraging. If your character is trapped in the wilderness or runs out of food in the apocalypse, they will need to find food. This is called foraging. However, picking random plants to snack on is a recipe for a new kind of disaster. Some plants are toxic, and others, like poison ivy, cause allergic reactions. I promise your character does not want hives in their throat. I've had hives in my throat, not because of a plant, but a food allergy. And it is not only hard to breathe and swallow, but your throat hurts and itches at the same time. You can't exactly scratch the inside of your throat. Knowing what plants are safe to eat and which are deadly can be the difference between life and death for your character. Knowing which berries can kill and which ones are safe is important. Also, some plants are safe to eat at certain times in their growth and not safe at others. I grew up eating the leaves of the poke plant until the plant started to turn purple on the stem, or leaves, or anywhere else for that matter. It is not safe to eat at that point. Now, a mandatory warning. According to WebMD and several other official places, poke is deadly and will kill you if you eat any part of it at any time. So your character should do as I say, not as I do. There is also a difference between some fruit trees. Many ornamental fruits are poisonous or toxic to eat. It can be challenging to tell the ornamental ones from the non-ornamental ones if you did not plant it yourself. If your character's unsure, they should not eat it, or they might regret this. Number 9. Tracking. Tracking is a skill that is often thought about with hunting. However, there are many other useful ways to use it after a disaster. First, if your character follows deer tracks long enough, they will probably come to a water source. It isn't a guarantee, but everything has to drink at some point. Another good use is to avoid predators in the woods. If they see mountain lion prints, and up ahead is a rocky outcrop, they will likely know it should be avoided. The same can apply to the two-legged predators. That means the bad guys. If they know they are the bad guys who created the disaster, they will want to avoid conflict with them. Although, if they were trained to find people, following the tracks from a river to a village would be a great way to find people if they needed help. Maybe for themselves, or to take help back to the injured characters. Number 10. How to make traps. Okay, maybe you saw it coming. If your character has tracking skills, they likely know where the game is. Game is just a fancy word for the wild animal that they intend to eat. If your character knows how to make traps, they have a chance to catch meat. Meat is vital for our health, as protein is not the easiest thing to get enough of when modern food options do not exist or are scarce. Traps can catch small game such as squirrels, rabbits, possums, raccoons, etc. to medium-sized game such as foxes, bobcats, coyotes, lynx, and more. If they are lucky and know the right kind of trap to make, they could even catch larger game such as deer or mountain lions. Okay, I hear all of you yelling, but this is fiction. The animals are not real, and I guarantee you, starving people will not care. Remember, some of these are illegal to hunt in certain areas of the world. Will it be illegal when your character does it? Only you can decide that. Oh, last note on this one. If your character does not have a way to refrigerate the food, and they don't know alternative meat preservation techniques, or cannot do them in their situation, they will not want to trap big game or too many. While many people think that they would hunt a deer, that's 70 or more pounds of meat. They can't eat that in one setting, and if they catch one, there's a good chance the extra meat will go bad before they can eat it. This would be very disheartening. Fun fact! The North Star is only visible in the Northern Hemisphere. Now for everyone's favorite part, what could possibly go wrong? Before we get into the best part, if you enjoy this podcast, I hope you'll take a minute to follow, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe and hit the like button. Drop me a comment. I love to hear from you. You can find the episode show notes and helpful links to learn more on my website, AlleyHart.com. That's ALLEYHART.com. Don't forget to share with a friend. And now for everyone's favorite part. Likely to go wrong. Your character doesn't know how to tie any knot except for their shoes. When they are faced with making a lean-to after a disaster, they do not make the ropes tight enough, and in the night, the shelter collapses on them. Also likely to go wrong. Your character has grown up with the North Star and knows what it is. However, they are in the Southern Hemisphere when disaster strikes. They do not know why they can't see the North Star and have problems navigating. Possible to go wrong. Your character misidentifies a plant and eats it. This could be deadly. Also possible to go wrong. Your character misidentifies poison ivy as a safe plant and uses it to wipe after they go to the bathroom in the woods. This could get very itchy. Also possible to go wrong. Your character thinks they know what some berries in a small shrub are. Little do they realize that this is a look-alike plant. They only eat a few before they start vomiting. Unlikely to go wrong. Your character thinks they are following the North Star to get home. However, in reality, they don't know which one the North Star is, and they follow a different star every night, leaving them moving in circles. Also unlikely to go wrong. Your character finds tracks outside their camp one morning and thinks that they belong to a big dog. However, the tracks really belong to a mountain lion. This could lead to a scary encounter, or even be deadly. Also unlikely to go wrong. Your character sets a trap for a deer. Unfortunately, the trap catches an unsuspecting person. This could cause them to be seriously injured or even be deadly. Improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is a bad guy tracking a group of people after they survived a disaster that your character made. However, they do not know a false trail when they see it. They walk right into a trap set by the survivors. This could be deadly. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character makes a deadfall trap with a large rock. As they set the trap, they do not balance it right, and the rock falls on their foot, breaking it. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is following a landmark. However, they were more injured than they realized in the disaster, and they are following a hallucination caused by their injury. Thanks for listening. Until next time, happy wordsmithing!